Rick, Lulu, and the alliance that should not exist. Let us start with Rick, because the decision he is about to make is the most classically self-destructive move available to a man in his position, and Port Charles has enough history with Rick making exactly this kind of move to know that the pattern has not been as resolved as he would like to believe. Dante and Elizabeth are getting closer. That is the observable fact at the center of everything. They went to a baseball game together, which in the context of two people's lives sounds casual and innocent. And then they came back to her place and shared a glass of wine, and the ease between them in that setting, the comfort, the laughter, the specific quality of two people who understand each other without a lot of explanation, was visible to anyone paying attention. Elizabeth is exclusively with Rick. She has not crossed any line. She has not done anything that her conscience would not be comfortable with. But the fact that she and Dante have this warmth between them, this genuine connection that has been building through proximity and shared experience and mutual appreciation, that is real whether anything explicit has happened or not. And Rick can see it, which is the problem. Rick has worked hard to be different from the man he was in earlier chapters of his Port Charles story. The jealousy, the possessiveness, the tendency to take controlling action when he feels threatened, he has put real effort into not being that person anymore. But effort has limits. And watching his girlfriend develop a deepening connection with his own nephew is exactly the kind of thing that tests those limits in ways he did not plan for. The decision to reach out to Lulu is the decision where Rick's worst instincts win over his better ones. He does not go to Elizabeth and say honestly that what he is seeing is making him uncomfortable and he needs some reassurance. He goes to Lulu and proposes a scheme. In the promo footage, he is telling Lulu directly, they need to break this up or they're going to lose the loves of their lives. He is framing their situations as parallel, which in a certain narrow sense they are. Both of them are watching someone they love developing a closer connection with someone else. Both of them feel the threat of being replaced. But the parallel breaks down immediately when you look more closely. Rick is actually in a relationship with Elizabeth right now. He is not an ex watching from the outside. He is the person Elizabeth chose. His insecurity is real, but the threat he is responding to exists primarily in his own anxiety rather than in anything Elizabeth has actually done. Going to Lulu and proposing interference in Elizabeth's friendship with Dante is not solving the actual problem. It is creating a new one while leaving the real one untouched. Lulu's reaction in the promo is appropriately ambivalent. She looks uncertain. The reasons for that uncertainty are multiple and legitimate. She's been working on her relationship with Dante as a co-parent, which requires a baseline of trust and good faith between them. Signing on to Rick's scheme would destroy that immediately if Dante ever found out. She is not sure she wants Dante romantically in the way that she might jump at the chance if the opportunity presented itself. She might be further past that chapter than Rick is crediting. And she understands, probably better than Rick does, what the collateral damage of this kind of interference looks like. The most important consideration she has to hold is Rocco. Rocco, who has been one of this summer's most consistently thoughtful and genuinely good presences in Port Charles, who is clearly attached to both of his parents and to the stability they have been working to maintain. More family drama caused by Lulu's choices is more pain for Rocco. And that calculation has to be the heaviest thing on the scale when Lulu is deciding whether to say yes or no to Rick's proposal. She may initially decline, but the promo suggests she is not fully closing the door either. And Lulu has her own history with impulsive choices driven by feeling rather than thought. If she sees Dante and Elizabeth together, if she witnesses the chemistry that Rick is describing rather than just hearing about it, the pang of jealousy that the spoilers reference could override the caution she is currently showing. The worst version of this story produces a scheme that goes wrong in exactly the ways you would predict and leaves Rick without Elizabeth, Lulu without whatever trust she had rebuilt with Dante, and Rocco once again having to absorb the consequences of adult choices he had nothing to do with making. The best version is Lulu saying no, and Rick having to confront the actual problem, which is his own insecurity rather than the friendship between Dante and Elizabeth. Whether Rick is capable of that confrontation right now, whether the growth he has been working toward is solid enough to survive this specific pressure, is the real question this storyline is asking. Jordan gets an offer, and then gets another one she did not ask for. Now let us talk about Jordan, because she is about to find out that corporate opportunities in Port Charles do not always arrive without conditions attached, and the conditions on the second opportunity are going to be considerably more complicated than the first one. Jordan has been in a specific kind of professional limbo since the Sidwell situation resolved. She is skilled, she is experienced, she is sharply intelligent in ways that cross multiple domains, and she has been demonstrating all summer that her instincts for understanding how organizations work, both legitimate and otherwise, are exceptional. The consulting angle she floated to Valentine was her way of acknowledging that she has valuable knowledge and intends to be compensated for it rather than giving it away. The CEO position at the company is the opportunity that lands on her unexpectedly. Michael suggesting her name when Jocelyn comes to him for help finding a replacement candidate is Michael doing what he does, looking at a situation that requires a specific kind of person and identifying who actually fits. Jordan's background working inside Sidwell's operation, even undercover, gave her experience navigating a complex corporate environment. Her DEA history gives her the analytical skills and the attention to institutional detail that running something requires. And her specific combination of personal ethics and professional flexibility makes her someone who can operate inside a complicated situation without losing her moral center. The unexpected offer arrives for Jordan, and even if she does not immediately know it is coming or what it is, the timing of it hitting right when the company needs new leadership and right when Jordan is looking for her next chapter is Port Charles storytelling being exactly as neat as it should be. Jocelyn telling Hudson that Jordan is her preferred choice to take over is the move that closes the CEO situation cleanly. It gets Jocelyn out of a role she does not want. It puts Jordan in a role that fits her. It gives the company someone at the helm who has the skills to manage what needs managing. Everyone in that particular arrangement gets something useful. And then Brennan appears. Because here's the thing about Jordan's new position that Jordan has not yet had time to consider. She is now in charge of an organization that the WSB chief has been investigating with growing urgency. She has the most complete access to the company's inner workings of anyone who is about to be involved with it. And Brennan, who has been building towards something in his understanding of this situation since the week he started asking questions, is going to see Jordan's appointment as an asset rather than a coincidence. His approach to her is going to be exactly what it was with the request he could not make directly to Jocelyn. The WSB's interest takes precedence over personal preference, and when the Bureau wants something, the difference between a request and a requirement is very thin. Jordan's DEA background makes her, in Brennan's framing, uniquely qualified for what he is asking her to do. Her experience with exactly this kind of embedded intelligence work is the specific credential that makes her not just useful, but probably irreplaceable. If Jordan tries to decline, if she argues that she is trying to run a company legitimately and she did not sign up for another undercover operation, Brennan will make it clear that the option to decline is not actually on the table. He has institutional authority. He has information. And he is increasingly convinced that something genuinely alarming is happening inside that company, which makes his interest in having an inside source urgent rather than optional. 2 jobs simultaneously. One she is excited about. One she was just handed by someone who does not typically take no for an answer. Jordan navigating both of those at once, while also managing the personal situation with Curtis in Pentonville and whatever is developing between her and Isaiah. That is a full plate even for someone as capable as she is. Brennan's obsession and what the company is hiding. And finally, let us look at the full picture of Brennan's investigation and what is driving the urgency that has been escalating week over week since this storyline began. The company was left in the care of someone appointed by its owner. The owner is unreachable. The documents and credentials all appear legitimate. The offer made to Jocelyn, supposedly on the owner's behalf, has every surface characteristic of a legitimate corporate succession plan. But nothing verifiable connects the current decision-making to the actual person who supposedly made the decisions. Brennan noticed this quickly and has been building his case carefully since. His approach to Alexis for information about the legal work connected to the company is exactly the kind of methodical intelligence gathering that distinguishes someone who actually knows how to investigate from someone who is simply worried. He is not panicking. He is building a picture. What the picture is beginning to show him is something that has serious implications for multiple people in Port Charles. If the company has been taken over, if the voice Carly spoke to is not who she thinks it was, if the documentation Hudson is carrying was created to deceive rather than to represent, then the question of what actually happened to the company's legitimate owner is the most alarming possible version of the answer to what is going on.